Yellow. I was sitting here doing nothing, so figured I might as well start talking. I've got a notebook to write stuff in, but why do that when I can just say my thoughts out loud, right? Like, why write them down if I can just speak them and then listen? So, day one, no smoking. And I don't know, I've got a little bit of a headache. I don't know if that has any correlation at all. Oh, could be just from anything. But I don't know how this is gonna go. It might be good. Might be really hard. Because it's one of the things I wrote for, you know, um, page in my notebook is saying I'm so fucking confused. I wrote that weed is great for making me not give a shit about anything. But I think I want to care. Like, weed is great for making you not give any shits about anything. Like, when I'm high, when I'm like really high, I just don't care. You know, I don't care that my life is a mess, that terrible things have happened, and how sad I am. Like, I just don't care how sad I am when I'm high. And that's what I've definitely been using it for the past 6 months plus. Just to not care, not give a shit. Like, why should I? I've got weed, right? Why care about anything when you've got weed? I don't know how. I wonder how daily life is gonna go now. If I if I can really just, it'll take at least like a few months before I stop like thinking about it every day and like wanting to smoke. You know? Well, yeah, at least 1 month, but like probably a few months before I stop like registering the, like, 'cause it's a habit. It really is. And old habits die hard, right? And I've been smoking since I was 17, going on 18. Like, I remember the first time I smoked, or the first night. It was a great night because I smoked for the first time. But okay, that wasn't. It was the first time I got high. Like I really got high. when I was with friends. So the first time I smoked was with my sister, and like I don't know what happened. I might not have known how to inhale, but I didn't get high. But the first time I got high was, you know, I was 17. It was the end of the football season. Like the last game. We just finished the last game of our senior career of football in high school, you know. It's just high school. But it was a game to go to the playoffs. If we won, we went to the playoffs. We lost, we like there's like a 90% chance that we weren't gonna go. 95, whatever. And we didn't go because we lost. It was a heartbreaking game. Like fucking heartbreaking. We gave it everything we had. Like I remember actually caring about that game. Like I was actually on the field feeling like I wanted to win, like trying. Like I never got like that usually during sports. Whether it was basketball or football, like during games, I didn't really care too much, you know. I did my best. Yeah, I wanted to win, but I knew most of the time we weren't going to. Never that good of a team, but fuck, we should have won that football game. It was I can't remember if we lost 0-3 or if it was 3-3 or 6-3. We lost by a field goal. I know that. It was either 0-3 or 6-3. But like we were on the fucking goal line at the end of the game, ready to score. And what do you know? We fuck it up. We fuck it up. Like the snap got fucked up and we didn't even get a chance to score. And that was that. We lost the game. Like it was in our hands. We were about to win and go to the playoffs. And then it just disappeared like that before our eyes. It was heartbreaking. That was the first time, like, I remember crying about a football game. And, like, it wasn't some, like, bitchy cry. I wasn't being a pussy. I wasn't just, I wasn't just, like, being depressed and sad and having, like, a cry for myself. Like, I was, like, mourning the loss of, you know, my football career. Like, it was over at that point. That was my senior year, and there was no more. And as much as I hated football the whole time I played it, still felt sad when it was done because it was camaraderie, teamwork, like friends. You have football friends that you just don't, wouldn't have ever been your friends otherwise. That's what sports are really good for in high school and middle school and, school in general. Sports are great for developing friendships and meeting people that, if you're a shy kid, you'll never talk to them, you'll never meet them, you'll never be in their life, and they'll never be in yours because you never had anything in common with them. But sports bring people together, and playing sports. Watching sports brings people together too, but it's completely different playing sports and being on a team and, you know, you learn a lot from it. And that's like you don't realize how much you miss that until you don't have it anymore, until you're growing up and you're just working a job and you start to reminisce about the good old days, about high school. And, it's really fucking sad. I'm a little worried that I peaked in high school. For a while, I was like, yeah, there's no way I'd peak in high school. Like, I am on to better things. Like, I didn't try in high school, and now I'm gonna try. We got this. And as the years have gone by, I'm a little worried that I peaked in high school. I never had to try. I never had to try to make friends in there. I just made friends from sports. And everybody else I was cool with because, I didn't bother them and they didn't bother me. So I just most of the time kept my mouth shut. Like going from homeschool to high school, I thought it would be harder, but it was actually really easy. I just kept my mouth shut, you know, figured out that I just had to do what I was told for classes, and it's easy. And, you know, most of the time you can just ignore people. And, if it wasn't for sports, I wouldn't have made a single friend probably. And sure, that's sad. I was not a social person. I was very shy. I wasn't raised in that good of a way. And I used to think that, like for everything I went through, how I was raised, how childhood went, how the family turned out, like I always thought that, hey, I'm thankful that I've got my head on straight, that like I've got this figured out, that I'm doing good. And now that it's gone to shit for me, I don't it's harder to see it like that. A little more worried. But definitely not smoking has made me more sad throughout the day and right now. Like, I'm more sad than I should be. More, I don't know, maybe not so much sad as it is like emotional. Like, yeah, I mean, I understand that that's what happens when you go off weed and you've been smoking it a long time. Like, you get overly emotional, especially the first few days. Like, it's it can be rough because like it's your hormones. Literally, like the weed affects your hormones. I almost just start crying there because Like, I don't know. And I was really sad and emotional earlier today because I was like, fuck, I'm so confused. I don't have any of this figured out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, I was really sad or emotional. Like, where usually I can smoke weed and not give a single shit. I'm gonna miss that. I'm really gonna miss that. Just, you know, once you take that hit, everything else goes away. And damn, that's nice. It's really nice. So, 1123. That's the date today. Notice anything about that? Say perhaps some special pattern? It's the Fibonacci sequence. Yeah, it's nothing special. It's just 1123. I thought it was cool. I'm so fucking confused. I miss the city, but there's nothing more I'd like than to find a cabin in the woods to hide in. And that's what I was getting emotional about earlier today. Like, there was this cabin on Facebook Marketplace that I was looking at, and it was like I could rent it for a couple months and just be a recluse and hide there and just like ground myself to nature maybe and spend time completely alone just with my thoughts and nature and, you know, a very basic way of living. And I thought that sounded really nice. But like fuck, I also think I shouldn't isolate myself like that. But that might, the whole like social isolation is bad thing. Like, yeah, it's probably true. But there's also good to it too if you're doing it for the right reasons, I think. If you're isolating yourself to try and grow and, you know, bloom because, being around other people is just too hard, then, I mean, by all means, you should have the choice to hide, get comfortable with yourself and who you are before you deal with everybody else. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? But yes, at the same time, I miss the city. I miss being able to walk everywhere and, always having something to do near you. Like, never a boring moment if you don't want one. And a cabin in the woods is the complete opposite. Like, it's all boring moments unless you unless you, I don't know, shift your perspective in a way or just do it differently so that where the boring moments aren't boring, like you're doing something with them, or you're using those boring moments in like a positive way, being aware of them and being like, yes, I'm bored right now, but that's good. That means I have to, I have to think of what I have to do so that I'm not bored. And, weed helps with boredom a lot too. That's one of the things. If you can smoke weed, then you're never bored. You don't have to be. So, not smoking weed means you have to, like, you're gonna be bored. And in those boring moments, you better figure out what to do so that you're not bored in the future. I love my family members, but I can't stop thinking I'd be better off without them. It's kind of a really sad one. I wish I didn't feel that way, but it's not a new feeling. I always wanted to get away from my family. When I went to college, I was finally free. I didn't have to deal with any more family drama. I didn't have to go, you know, family had completely fallen apart long before that. Like, I can't stop thinking I'd be better off without them. I can't stop thinking that. It's the same feeling as like when I get the feeling that I want to run away. Like I don't want to deal with these people anymore. I don't want to deal with any of this. I want to run away and never look back. Like, that's a thought I have, and I have the thought that that's not what I should do, and I should support my family, but I also have the thought that, fuck, if I want to focus on myself, then that might be exactly what I need, is to run away and get away from everybody and just figure it out on my own. If I can. I don't know if I can figure it out on my own, but that's like part of the reason I feel that I want to, because I was watching like the Vikings, the show Vikings. It was on TV, and I watched a scene, and there's a scene where Bjorn is talking to Ragnar, and Bjorn is like gonna go out to this cabin in the woods in the middle of winter to try and survive. And like, that's what he said. He's like, he just wants to Like yeah, Ragnar asks him why he's doing this, and he one of the scenes is like he's like, "Why are you doing this, Bjorn?" And he's like, "Because you think I can't." So he's trying to prove to his father that he can do it on his own and survive. But I remember another scene where he's saying that like he's going out there to find himself. It's like, fuck, I feel like I need that. I need to go find myself. Sure, I know that I'm just some retard from Wisconsin, but I might need something more. I might need to know what that means for me. Being alone. Because I do, I come back to the house here every day and I just feel like shit. Just absolute shit every time I come back. Like that makes it hard to interact the way I should and like talk to my family, talk to my mom. Like it makes it really hard to do that because every time I come back here, I just feel like shit. I feel like I don't want to be here every time. I wish I was someplace else. So, I eat or I smoke or I play video games, anything to distract myself. I'll have something on my phone 24/7. I always have to be listening to something to distract myself from how much I fucking hate being here and dealing with the things in my head. Like, it's only going to get more difficult now that, well, it'll go both ways. It'll get more difficult, but it'll also get easier to deal with the difficulty, if you know what I'm saying. Like, if I don't have weed as a crutch, then, at times it's going to be harder to deal with shit. Like, I can't just depend on weed to make me feel A-okay and not care. But at the same time, the absence of that means I have to grow stronger. I have to learn how to deal with this shit without weed. That's gonna really take something out of me. Like I have to try. I have to work 100%. I don't know, that cabin in the woods sounds mighty fine. It does. It really does. I know I'd be leaving, like leaving my mom here alone and like I can come back and visit, right? No, I don't have a reliable car for transportation, but it's 8 miles out of town, so which means I'd either need to have a car or I need somebody to drive me in and out. Like, what? That's crazy. Like, I'd have to have my mom drive me there, drop me off, and then just be alone for as long as I can until I need something, right? Like, I can't bring enough food for like a month in one go. Like, I'm gonna have to leave to get food. I'm gonna have to leave to, yeah, just get food. That's all it is. You know, if you're living, you know, say you have your own land and, you know, pretty much everything you need is right there on the land, in the house, whatever. Like, if you didn't have a job that you have to go to, then the only reason you'd ever leave really is like to do something or to get food. And, you know, that's for if you're living on your own land. For me, living in a cabin in the woods, I wouldn't be leaving to go do anything. That would be what I'm doing. It's just living in a cabin in the woods. But if you have your own land, you know, you just need some animals, some chickens, some goats or cows for milk. You know, that way you get milk and eggs. Slaughter some chickens every once in a while, and you know, you get meat that way. You can get a lot of the food right off the land, and you don't. That just cuts the amount of times you have to leave. Don't that sound like the dream? Having your own land that you never have to leave because everything is there, and you know you're supplying everything for yourself, like self-sufficiency. That's the goal. Self-sufficiency. That's the dream right there. That really is the dream. And you know, large majority of people are dependent on the system these days. Me, I am dependent on the system very hard. You know, I am not self-sufficient at all. I buy my groceries from Walmart or the local food co-op, you know, either one. But I'm dependent on those. I'm dependent on grocery stores. I have zero self-sufficiency when it comes to that. It's just non-existent. Nah. I really want to fuck, but I'd much rather it be for making babies than pleasure. I don't know. I'm probably too young to be thinking about that. I'm probably too retarded to be thinking about that. Like, I gotta realize that that's just a dream. That's, you know, I have to hold that as something I want for the future, but that just isn't going to happen now, anytime soon. Like, I have to accept that. I have to accept that making babies is not something that should happen for a very long time. But think, like, if I make it to 30 years old, you know, let's say I don't have babies, don't have a wife or a girlfriend, but like I'm 30 years old and single, and I still know that I want to have a family, want to make babies. Like, the hope is I'm in a better place to make that happen when I'm 30 years old. And then, fuck, I could meet somebody, get married to them, put a baby inside them, and, by the time I'm still 30, I could have a baby with my wife. Like, and then, just you go from there. But 30 is still young. Like, I'm 21 right now. 30 is still young. Like, sure, when you're 21, you hope that you're matured, but if you're not, then you're not, and you have to accept that. Like, I'm not. I'm still a fucking baby. I wish I was a man, but just a little bitch. By 30, I could have a baby and a wife. Say by 35, 36, I could be a forefather, father of four, or, more generous with time. You could say I'd be a forefather by 40. First kid at 30, forefather by 40. Like, that's good statistics right there. That's, I don't need a fucking kid in my 20s. I don't. I just need to know that that's what I want and not forget that. Like, it's like that's what I wanted when I was a young teenager, and I forgot it. I forgot that that was the dream, to have a family and be a better father than mine was to me. Like, that was always the fucking dream, and I lost sight of it. And I'm a little mad at myself for that, but there's nothing we can do about it besides change now. Be aware. Make it happen. Not now, though. Just know that that's what you want. That would give me that'd give me 8.5 years to, figure out my life, get a good job, make money, you know, save up, or, get land or whatever, and then And after that, it's just like find a woman, provide for her, bring her to your land, put a baby in her, and be a fucking father. I don't know what that means, but I know what it means for me right now is that I need to use these next 8.5 years to prepare myself for being a father. If that's the goal. If the goal is to be married and have a kid by the time I'm 30, then, I've got time, but I need to figure some shit out before then. And, get shit together. Weed is great for making me not give a shit about anything, but I think I want to care. That was the next bullet point. And then the last 3 years are at least I'm not gay. At least I've got a house. And at least I'm trying to not kill myself. 3 positive things right there that I can hold my hat on. Is that the saying? I don't. But I decided that 2023 would be the year of awareness. Be aware of your struggles, be aware of your habits, be aware of your thoughts. That's just what I wrote real quick when I came up with the year of awareness. But it was a waste. What does the year of awareness actually mean? I don't. It means to just be aware of like where you're leading yourself and where you're trying to go. Like that's pretty important right there. Like fucking knowing where you want to end up and knowing like where you're headed, like those are two very important things that you need to join together to accomplish your goals if you have any. Know the destination you want to get to and figure out how you're going to get there. And then while you're trying to get there, like be aware. Make sure that what you're doing is actually leading you in the direction you want it to get to your destination. Like it's important. Okay, what else? What else? What else? There's nothing funnier than blowing your fucking brains out. We know that. Um, I remember. I was talking about suicide before, and like, whether that affects your experience of death. And I want to revisit that at some point. I want to do another delve into that area and think about that. But currently, I don't know if I have the mental capacity to think through any of that. I thought Fabio was going to be there. I'm disappointed. What do I want? Where am I going? Like, what's my destination? I don't have any of that squared away. The heat's on right now, and it's just getting too hot in my room. Gotta open the door for a bit. I need to figure out how to forgive my brother for killing himself. Sure, there's nothing to figure out. You just have to do it, right? Forgiveness is a choice, just like everything else. It's always your choice, nobody else's. And I'm just mad at him for doing that. I'm really, really pissed. Really fucking pissed that he would choose to do that. To just end his life. My brother killed my brother. So, I'm really mad at my brother for killing my brother. But, I miss my brother. And Baby Yoda. Yeah, I miss my brother. I'm sad that he's dead. And I'm mad that my brother killed him. Suicide is murder. You're killing another human being. It's fucking disgusting. It's tragic. And yeah, I know. Can't change it. It is what it is. It happened. So I just have to do the best I can to accept it and forgive my brother for what he's done and you know not hold myself accountable like allow myself to forgive myself or whatever and accept that I couldn't have stopped him, accept that it wasn't my choice, that yeah, like, that I couldn't have stopped him no matter what I did. I have to accept that, I guess, and just accept that it's all over. And try not to hold on to that anger anymore. That anger I have towards my brother. Like, just let that shit go. Because it's not going to get you anywhere. Being mad at your brother for killing your brother isn't going to get you anywhere. It is what it is. Just accept and let go. You know, forgive and forget is another saying that's like that, but I don't think that, you know, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Like, I'll never forget, right? So you can't. Fabio? Kitty? I keep thinking I hear him outside. Accept and let go. Two sides of the same coin. You know, it's different not getting to smoke while talking. Like that's what I always do is smoke and talk. Like that's just my go-to. I don't I don't know if I've ever done one of these without smoking some weed. Like I need my weed. But hey, I guess not. You know, I can do it. I can sit here and talk about my thoughts without smoking weed. Like that's not necessary. I can get my internal dialogue out. Easy. Easy peasy. You know, I think in the future, I might like to try and do this in the morning, when I'm on an empty stomach and just having my cups of coffee. Like, that sounds kind of fun. Because usually the way I'd always have been doing it before is like I'm doing it at the end of the day, at nighttime, and, I'm smoking weed to wind down and get tired and be ready for bed by the end of it. But like now that I'm not smoking weed, like I'll probably want to do it earlier in the day. more because I have less reason to do it at night. Like smoke and talk at night like that. That was fun for a while. I liked it, but if I'm not gonna smoke, I might want to change it to coffee and talking. Like, you know, I can't drink coffee at midnight. I mean, I could. I've done it before. It's fun, but I want my sleep. Sleep's good for you. I don't know if I'm like bipolar or not, but like I have my suspicions and like I'm watching out for it in myself because I know my brother definitely was. And, I watch for it in myself because I'm a little scared. Like, sure, it's just who I am and how I work, but it can lead you to some really bad places. If you just get overly excited about putting your ideas into action, like sometimes you just don't put enough thought into your ideas. And it turns out that it was a really bad idea and you should have never put it into action. But when you're fucking manic, like you don't care about that. You have an idea and you're excited that you have an idea, so you can put it into action. Then you have another idea and you're gonna fucking put that one into action too. And it's like every single fucking thing that you can do, you're gonna do it. Because you're excited, you're ready, you know. And like I don't know, I feel like I see that sometimes in myself where like, a lot of time I'm just like low and depressed and not really wanting to do anything new, not wanting to branch out or do the things that I like know I enjoy doing or whatever. And then at other times it's like I start trying to do all of them all at once, like as much as I can because I know I can. And it's like, have an idea? Okay, let's do it. Yeah, sounds good. So, I don't know. I don't know how much of it is just ups and downs, how much of it is a possible diagnosable thing that I have. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't spill the beans. Don't spill the beans. I guess I have to. It's gonna be hard to go to bed without smoking. Yeah, that's the main thing. It's gonna be. It could be hard to fall asleep, and I don't know. But over time, I think it'll be good for me. Maybe I'll start to get like a bedtime routine again because I haven't had that for a long time. I've just been fucking smoking and eating until I pass out every night. So maybe that'll change for the better. Here's to hoping. Well, now I've got something to listen to for an hour tomorrow. So, in the words of Owen Benjamin, be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy.